This is the Reds Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the Postcast, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Tim Daniel, and today's episode is brought to you by Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKDOWN to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. On today's show, Dane Myers makes the Noelvi Marte-esque catch. JJ Bleday gets them going. Jose Franco eats up a ton of innings and was excellent. And now if the Reds win tomorrow, by technicality, they get to keep the Ohio Cup. But let's start with Dane Myers.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Remember when I would always say that he needs to play every day? He needs to play every day. And this isn't like a knock at anyone else, but that catch today was insane. And that's this part two of what he did for this team today. So they really needed that go-ahead run, which he steals second, steals third, gets the scores on a pass ball. Awesome. Incredible base running. Really nice to see. He had a really good day overall between both of the between both games in the doubleheader today. But he gets that add-on run that they really needed, and then goes and makes that catch. And now, I don't know how many of these catches we've seen. Okay, this is awesome. Dane the Kool-Aid Man Myers is from Griffey Fan. I like that. It's been, for everything this outfield has not been, athleticism is not a concern for the most part, between Marte and right field, who's kind of still learning the ways, and between Myers and center field when he's out there. Bleday is a pretty decent athlete as well, but is obviously there to hit homers, and he did do that today, which we'll talk about here in a second. But to see Myers kind of have this guy, and he plays a little reckless, right? And that's not to say he does anything wrong, but he's a guy who, okay, Diane puts it perfectly. No fear, Dane Myers. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you, Diane. He's a guy who will risk it all to make a play for his team. And obviously you respect those guys. And, it's part of the things that people love in Cincinnati. It's these hard-nosed guys who will run through a wall for the team to win. I think he's run through enough walls already this year. But he just kind of gives you that nice feeling of just kind of finding ways to make you feel alive in this team. And, the bat's also solid, right? Like we talked about that. So I'm trying to pull the numbers up real quick. Of course, my laptop does not want to work here as I do this, but he's a guy who has been playing a lot more center field with the injuries and things like that. That 742 OPS isn't great by any means, but his last 30 games, he's got a 292 batting average, a 378 on base, and a 347 slugging. I'm not looking for him to slug, 500 or so. I'm just fine with what he's doing. He's got 5 stolen bases in his last 30 games. He's been just what this team needs for this situation. And he's a guy who the Reds are going to have next year. That's pretty promising as well. I thought he gave them a really, really good day today, both in both games, and obviously makes what might be the play of the season so far. That was awesome. It was really, really cool to see. But just a really nice day for Dane Myers. And how about JJ Bleday today?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So before we get into JJ Bleday's performance, I think we got to first tip our cap to the opposition and Gavin Williams, who was saddled with the loss today, but did anything but really lose. 7 innings of 12 strikeout ball and was awesome. His one blemish, I guess 2, was the Myers run, and then the first inning, JJ Bleday homers off of him. And that was a monster shot. Now, Bleday is obviously a hot button on the stay or go conversation you're hearing quite a bit right now as we're getting closer to the deadline next week, but I think is a guy who the Reds could definitely benefit from next year. I know Jeff has particularly talked about him maybe being this era's Brandon Drury. I hope not, because that was a quick fall. But also could be a guy that, this is the outlier. So this is 18th homer of the year today. And I feel like he just kind of brings that extra spark, and he just does things really well. Like today, the offense, the second game wasn't very good, right? They scored 5 runs and lost in the afternoon, and then in the evening game, they get 3 hits total. And again, part of that is Gavin Williams was awesome. He just does what he does. I mean, there's a reason he's pitching as well as he is on a team like the Guardians, who are in the American League, but are in a playoff chase. Again, in the American League, which is like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's AAA bad as far as like how close the teams are, but it's not great, especially when you look at the senior circuit over here in the National League. But for Bleday to get that homer, kind of get that spark going, obviously they were a little disappointed with how they lost earlier, considering they had that comeback and then they lose. Then the Guardians come back and win. And this was a fun one to see them go out and win the night. And it was a fun couple days of baseball. So that was cool to see. And also, hey, shout out Ivan Johnson for making 2 really, really nice plays. They obviously getting his first big league hit. Also does draw a walk today, and then makes an awesome play at second base. That was really, really nice to see. So hopefully he can kind of get his legs underneath him. He's super athletic. He's a guy that's kind of got a lot of tools that you want to see if he can develop them. So that was a really good day for him as well. Really appreciate that. Nice to see. But today was a bullpen day. And one name particularly for the Reds today that really stepped up and risked it all, literally, was Jose Franco. We're going to talk about Franco and more right after this. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with everyday's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before every pitch. Sometimes it's a hitter who's been on a hot streak, a favorable pitching matchup, or even a ballpark that tends to give up home runs. Those are always the first things to look for before making your Daily Dingers pick. There are certain players when every at-bat feels like something big could happen. That's what makes Daily Dingers fun. You get to back the player you think is ready to go deep that day. So are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Kalshi. On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade on every single game. Say you're looking ahead to tomorrow night when the Reds look to clinch the series against the Guardians, and you have the Reds right now currently at 47% trading for a win, which means if you put $100 on the Reds to trade, you can win out at $205.14 payout. On Kalshi, you're trading as peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade 25. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything, and literally they mean anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, go see kalshi.com/regulatory. If you're on Everydayer and you want to go ahead and step up your Everydayer game, check out the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonreds.supercast.com. It's $5 a month or $50 a year. It gets you access to ad-free episodes of all your favorite Locked On shows, as well as our Discord chat where we're in there talking baseball, and we want to talk baseball with all of you there as well. And if you want to keep the conversation going after the postcast, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at TimDaniel518. I'm also there on Instagram at TimDaniel518. I have too many socials that I'm quite ashamed to admit how many I have, but I like talking baseball with you all, and I really appreciate you guys always being here on a nightly basis. Jose Franco today. I know Dane Myers got player of the game, but Jose Franco is definitely deserving, so we'll give him the X factor.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
So the whole bullpen is going to get their flowers before the end of the show, but Franco particularly. So those who don't know, when you have a doubleheader, you bring up one additional guy you can have. You can carry 27 people on the roster that day. Franco was picked up to be the 27th man. You kind of figured he was going to pitch in this game because of everything going on. And he goes out there today and gives just under 4 innings with 2 strikeouts, does have 2 walks, and does give up a hit and guts it out. Does end up leaving the game early. Hopefully that's nothing serious with an injury. But for him, this is a guy who's kind of been through the ringer, right? This is a guy who has kept waiting for his opportunities in the big leagues. And this year he's pitched in 10 games for the Reds. And he's kind of been more solid than we suspected. Mr. Juan says Jose Franco is this year's Carson Spires. I said John Franco. I am living in Reds past there, but I like that. This year's Carson Spires. For him to kind of just go out there and deliver the way he did when the team really needed this, like I said earlier, they've been playing really good ball of late. They won those 3 series on the road. They have a chance to win this series tomorrow now. And he definitely contributed to that. He gets his first big league win. So he definitely knew what the assignment was, and he delivered. Now I get it. This isn't a Guardian. This isn't the late 90s Cleveland Guardians, right? There's no Kenny Lofton, David Justice, Marquise Grissom, Albert Bells over there right now. Jose Ramirez, notwithstanding. But for him to kind of just go out there and just make sure he kept the big league offense shut out is really promising. So really nice day for him. Let's talk about the rest of the bullpen. Caleb Ferguson gets the opening spot and did pretty well as well, and ending in 2/3 with a strikeout. Then Julian Garcia comes in. That guy's just so impressive with how good he's been. And I'm not necessarily sure what his ceiling is, but for right now, he's doing what the Reds need to do. Franco comes in. Tejay Antone continuing to just be awesome. Goes and ending in a 1/3 as well. Antone is now up to is now underneath a 1.2 ERA in his last 7 appearances with 6 strikeouts. His last 15, he doesn't have a decision. He's got a 1.32 ERA. He's done 13 and 2 innings. Has 13 strikeouts, 2 walks. That's it. Tejay Antone, man. If comeback player of the year really means something, that guy should win it. If it's really about, overcoming adversity and everything, it's that dude. I get the Reds aren't probably making the postseason, but that guy's definitely done it. And Emilio Pagan, since coming back from the IL, has been really good. Has an inning tonight, gets 2 strikeouts, and then the last out was, one of the better. It seems to be weird that he's always the guy on the hill when we have these incredible catches, right? Last year, the Noelvi Marte won. This one today, it's, he's the one on the hill when Dane Myers makes the catch. Not saying there's anything wrong with him, but it is kind of interesting. He's kind of the guy that's been there. His last 7 appearances has 5 saves, a 2.57 ERA, 11 strikeouts, just 2 walks, a .86 whip. He's been really good since he came back, and the Reds obviously need him to be as good as he possibly can if they have any chance of going on, because he's here next year too. Well, whatever there is left of next year. So we'll see how that goes. But now, on a technicality, if you do tie in the Ohio Cup, the previous winner is the team that gets to keep the trophy. So the Reds did win last year, and now they have a chance that if they win tomorrow, they get to keep it for another year on our side of the front complex. And if you remember last season, they put the cup in the champion windows club where you could go and take pictures with it, which I thought was pretty cool, because why win World Series when you can prove you're the best professional baseball team in the state of Ohio? Right? That's at least how Bob and Phil think of it. But with that being said, the Reds are in fact winners tonight over the Cleveland Guardians 2-0. The Reds have 2 runs on 3 hits and 0 errors. The Guardians have 0 runs on 3 hits and 0 errors as well. Jose Franco gets his first big league win. He is now 1-0 with a 4.43 ERA. Gavin Williams does take the loss, though. Pitched anything but a losing effort. 10-6 with a 3.71 ERA. And then Emilio Pagan picks up his 11th save, bringing his ERA down to 5.06. And tomorrow, the Cincinnati Reds have a chance to take their 4th straight series as Brady Singer takes the hill, maybe for the last time as a Cincinnati Red. We shall see. Singer is currently 5-9 with a 4.53 ERA. He'll be going against the Guardians. Excuse me, I got something in my throat there for a second. Joey Cantillo, who is 8-6 with a 4.02 ERA. First pitch will be at 7:10, so it'll probably be here about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, depending how the game goes. And everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me for not just one, but 2 games. It was a lot of fun to cover a doubleheader, especially when they at least won one of them. I'm Tim Daniel. Please be sure to stay tuned in to Locked On Reds, whether it's here on your podcast app of choice, on YouTube. Hit that subscription button, hit that notification button so you can get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday, as well as they're covering the trade deadline very deeply. I'm Tim Daniel. Go Redlegs. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.